They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. This video is recorded at 30 frames a second. At 30 frames a second, this 16-minute video is worth 28,800,000 words. Who are they, you might ask? It doesn't really matter. I was born in the mid-60s, so as I was growing up, early ages of recognizing vehicles for me were 1969, 4 years old. There were a lot of awesome muscle cars being produced at the time. The favorite ones I have are the 69 Mustang, 69 70 Camaros. I never picked a specific brand manufacturer that I liked over any of the other ones. As I grew up, I had an older brother that's 8 years older, so when I was 8 years old, he was 16, and his friends started drag racing. They had a Chevy 2, basically early 60s Chevy Nova, and they would take it to the local track, so they lived around the corner, and I would go over there with my other brother, Daryl, and we would spend a lot of time watching the guys wrench on them. They would slide us underneath the car so they didn't have to jack it up, give us a big wrench, and tell us to break a bolt or attach something that they couldn't get at unless they lifted the car and they were in a hurry. So we would go underneath the car and do the work. I wound up going down to Watkins Glen, I think the first time for a Formula One race. Luckily that track is nearby, and back in the 70s, my oldest brother and his friends would go. So they were nice enough to take me and my other brother, I think 14 years old. It really spiked my interest in vehicles. So I've been a car enthusiast ever since. Through high school, my friends had some decent cars. We were all from families that had a lot of kids, so anytime you wanted to do something to your car, you had to go to a junkyard yourself, source the parts, take them off, fix your own car. There was no parents paying for any cars for 16-year-olds in my neighborhood. You had to do it all yourself. So that's where I learned how to tinker with the cars. So as I got older, I went down to Watkins Glen for a IMSA race, and there was a 94 Corrado sitting in the parking area, and I fell in love with that car. So I thought at that point I would definitely want to buy one of those. I wasn't sure I could ever afford one. Luckily the prices dropped quite a bit after a few years. They were losing their value because they stopped making them, and quite frankly, get a Camaro with twice as much horsepower for less money. So I think most of the Americans did that instead of buying Volkswagens. This is my 1993 Volkswagen Corrado. I bought it in 1997 out of North Carolina. It had about 54,000 miles on it when I got it. It was almost completely stock, no modifications whatsoever, which was one of the reasons why I purchased it. Had about 3 owners prior to me, and I decided price was right and time to buy one since they stopped making them in '95. I didn't want to miss out on having one. I wound up driving it stock for many, many years. Everything worked great on it, up to about 110,000 miles. I had no issues whatsoever. When parts started wearing out, that's when I decided to start adding, aftermarket parts. At the time, European Car Magazine was still putting out articles with different companies that did multiple, iterations of the vehicle. So there was a slew of parts available. This was about 2010 era. I wound up pulling the motor out and taking it to a local shop here in my area, Exton's Auto Works. They are run by Larry Exton, who's a former IMSA mechanic. He's a top-notch BMW, Porsche, Volkswagen shop. They do prep for racing at Watkins Glen, all over the Northeast, and they are one of the best shops available to anybody in the United States. The work I had done, Larry determined that the pistons were flared at the top, so there was no way to keep it with stock pistons, but he was able to bore out the cylinders to match the 2.9 vehicles that were sold in Europe. The motors for the United States were 2.8 liters. So I was able to source the right pistons. The factory pistons are 82 millimeter Kolben Schmidt. I wound up purchasing Tektronix parts. They were in my price range at the time. I couldn't afford Schrick or any of the higher priced parts. So I wound up getting 268 Tektronix 268 cams, Tektronix 2.5-inch exhaust, a Tektronix chip to go along with the cams. I also sourced ARP head bolts, rod bolts. I think we kept the same piston rods. Got all new bearings. He machined the crank and or polished it. He was able to rebuild the heads with, or the head, single head VR6. He was able to use heavy-duty valve springs. Fuel injectors were cleaned. They were not increased. Definitely replaced the timing chains, everything that needed for the engine I redid. Made sure I had new parts for it, all the sensors. Shut up. So there are some issues rebuilding a VR6 engine. Some of you might not know VR6 actually is a single head, 15-degree V6 engine. The machines to bore out the cylinders were hard to find. Larry had to go to a friend's shop in order to be able to bore out the cylinders. That took a couple months to take care of. Once I got the engine back, I was able to drop it back in the car. I ordered Coney adjustable shocks and struts, new speed lowering springs, 1.3 lowering springs, put all new stainless brake lines on, which it had some already. I finished up everything, put a new slave cylinder in, bought a stock Sachs clutch. I got the wheels that are on it from Wagon Wheels. They're knockoffs. Just a good looking wheel. Not very expensive comparatively. I think it was $600 for the set. I still have the factory 15-inch wheels, but they need refinishing, so I'm going with these. I like the size of the rim and the wheel well better. Hopefully I can go over this whole car in the future and completely rebuild it. When I installed the engine, I wound up sourcing Simco coolant hoses. I bought a whole set, so everything was changed as I was putting it back together. Put new oil cooler in it. I didn't get the aftermarket one. Temperatures were pretty good. The paint in the early 90s was subpar for some companies, it seemed like. Chrysler had a lot of problems. This Volkswagen didn't have a really good amount of paint on it. It had a lot of issues, so I wound up having it repainted at a local shop just to get a few door dings out, and he wound up painting the whole car. He couldn't source the correct paint. He had to use a PPG scanner to match it. It's burgundy pearl is the original color. It matches, I'm not sure what the one he used, but they had to mix it for it. And he matched the door sills and door jambs very well. So it looked pretty good, but when you tape off parts instead of doing a full paint job, clear coat starts to peel, and that's what's happening right now. There's many years of this car sitting outside through the winter since storage is very expensive and I don't have the money for that. So I tried covering it. The cover caused damage to the paint. So it's in need of a complete paint stripping and repaint. I have to say that it's my favorite car. There's just something about the Corrado that I just can't get rid of it. I have to keep it. I've had it 26 years at this point. I'm hoping to redo it, put it back to its original quality. I don't want to go back to factory. I'd like to get coilovers for it. Like I said, do a full paint job, and then fix all the, little things that start going wrong on a 140,000 mile car, 145,000 mile car. I'm pretty confident the engine's going to stay as is. I don't think I'm going to go bigger or make any changes to what I did originally. If I had the money, I would probably have 4 Corrados. It sounds like there's a pretty good crate engine, that crate VR6, that can be sourced, and that would be the ultimate build, right? To put a high horsepower motor in, possibly 4-wheel drive. The Corrado just has something about it when you're driving it. It's every time I get into it after a season that it's sitting in the winter, I realize that I can't sell it. Financially, it's not going to ever bring enough money to make it worth it with the amount I've got into it. Brand new, this car was, I think, $23,500, $23,900, something like that. I got it in '97 for $11,200, maybe $11,500. Didn't need any work for a good 13 years. I drove it, put about 4,000 miles on it each year. I still drive it as much as I can. The guys I run into that own them and sold them all wish they didn't sell them. They all want to find a new one and replace it. It's definitely love-hate. I've never gone to the point where I hated having the car. They do get finicky after 100,000 miles. In my case, they are a handful to own. I wouldn't recommend it on anybody that doesn't enjoy learning about how vehicles work. You really need to do your research and talk to a lot of people if you really want to buy one and you haven't been a mechanic or a car enthusiast all your life. It's really not a car for the lighthearted. I kept all the original parts. I have not gotten rid of anything. The headlights are European style due to a person in my driveway backing into the car. Luckily they only broke the headlights instead of doing damage to the vehicle, body work or anything like that. When I rolled the fenders, the paint chipped, so I did some touch up with some black paint, and the whole rear quarters, both sides need to be repainted at this point. So that'll be one of the upcoming things I'll do. Unfortunately, the sunroof has broken to the point where it can't be fixed, so I'm going to have to source a Passat glass sunroof as the same size. If you have a good mechanic that likes Corrados, it's worth buying one. Considering the prices of most of the cars out there today, for a car that is just around 200 horsepower, and the handling, obviously they set it up for the Autobahn, getting around. The hatch is usable. I had this as my only car for quite a while, and I used it for everything. Vacations, work. If I could get a Corrado and put $100,000 into it, I would. I can't imagine it wouldn't be more fun to drive or as fun to drive as any one of the, McLarens or Porsches or Lamborghinis. Hopefully I can get some more videos out on the Corrado and take people on a journey that hopefully they'll be interested in. If not, I'll just make the videos for myself then. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching.